They're the fastest metal cars you've ever seen. Mattel's new Hot Wheels.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another episode in my Hot Wheels collection series. And today we're going to be highlighting the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. Now this is a 2024 release of these three models, and as you can see I have three variations of the exact same car. The only difference is the color. You can even see they're all numbered the same, 122 out of 250. Again, all three of them are painted with the Gulf livery, blue and orange stripe down the center, but we do have the white, the light blue, and the dark metallic blue. Now, before we get into the history of this car, I do want to share with you, I've modified my opening technique a little bit, and I've succeeded, but I might have gone overboard. And I'll show you with this. This will be my example. But I did safely remove these two models, and I had absolutely clean removals. No paper loss whatsoever. They're still drying out just a little bit, but I did have a what I've decided is the last opening I did, I was using a Q-tip, and I just don't think I was getting enough acetone into the paper to adequately soak it in to remove the to break down the glue. So instead of wiping it down with a Q-tip, I thought I'd be smart and transfer it into a squeeze bottle, which has just the smallest of openings that I could, easily paint down the back where the line would be and get it open. And it worked. I mean, you can see it worked, but it worked too well. In fact, I think I got too much, came out, and I spilled, and I made a little bit of mess on my workbench. Word of advice, don't do this over your nice workbench because the acetone will remove the markings on your bench itself. So, but I'll try to do a little bit better job this time. So I'm just going to, I'm not really squeezing, I'm just like pouring it out, really. Well, you can just see it absorb right in, it just soaks right in. In fact, we might already be there. Let me see. Well, the bottom's already lifted. Let me put a little bit more on the top. Look at that. Maybe a little bit of black right there. That's really the only loss I've had since I started this technique, but it seems to work a lot easier. It keeps your paper in much better shape. So there we have it. Now, the reason I waited on this one was these are standard models you can buy pretty much at any retail store, but the white one is exclusive at Walgreens only. So if you're looking for the white one, you got to go to Walgreens to find it. Okay, let me set these out of the way. Let me zoom a little bit in on the cars. And we'll get right into it. Now, there are actually two versions of the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe, and we're going to be talking about the earlier one as well. But this particular model was designed and made its debut in 2007 and was part of the new model series. And it continues to be produced in this fashion to this day. Although I don't think there was a 2025 model, at least yet, that we know of. It was designed by the infamous Larry Wood. Now, in this iteration, there were 21 different versions made. And of those 21 versions, here we've got 19, 20, and 21. So these are the final three of the 21 that have been debuted so far. Now, the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe is a Hot Wheels casting based on the race car of the same name, again, making its debut in 2007. Now, you'll notice sometimes you'll see the word Daytona spelled out straight, or sometimes you'll see it in quotations. And the reason for that is when Hot Wheels was advertising for this model on posters, they were putting quotes around the word Daytona. So they kept that up, and you'll see the quotes on the word Daytona here. But you may not always see it that way. Now, from the back of its card, in fact, let's just take a look at what this says here. There's no information other than it's part of the race day division or series, meaning these speed demons prove any day is a great day to hit the track. That is true, but nothing about the car. But in 2010, on the back of the car, it says that the car was designed in 1964 in Dearborn, Michigan, USA. Now, this is the real car we're talking about, by Ford Motor Company. With a front mid-mounted V8 engine and dual-side exhaust, this rare race machine was made for endurance. Now, I told you earlier there are two versions of this car. Prior to 2007, there was another car that was called the 1965 Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. And it was produced by Hot Wheels from 1998 and went through 2004, and it sported 6 different iterations. So this version is a successor to the earlier 1965 version. Now, although the bodies look almost identical, one can easily identify the earlier model by its forward opening front engine hood. And you'll see on this casting there is a line where it would open, but it's a sealed piece. But the 1965 Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe did actually open up. Now, back to the full-scale car. In its heyday, the car was designed in the mid-1960s as an attempt to thwart the superiority of the Ferraris in the GT class of racing. These were the vehicles that were racing in Le Mans and the 24-hour of Daytona, your longer endurance races of the day. Ferraris were dominating in the GT class. Ford wanted to compete, obviously, so they brought in Carroll Shelby to assist in the design of a race-winning car. Now, in its inaugural year of racing, the 1964 Shelby Cobra was just barely beat out by the Ferraris and placed second in the division. But the following year, in only its second year, this car, the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe, got to live out their dreams and succeeded in beating the Ferraris for the manufacturer's championship. So kudos to Carroll Shelby for within just its second year, they were able to beat out the dominant Ferraris. So that's a pretty cool little history on the car itself. Let's take a look at the cars up close. You can obviously, it's pretty noticeable. One of the telltale signs is it's got this really cool spare tire that's under the back window. You can't actually access it, but it's visible through the glass. And the window tint is pretty dark, but it is a left. I don't know, you can't quite see it in the light, I don't think. But the steering wheel is on the left side with the shifter in the center console. All 3 cars do sport the same orange rimmed wheels. They do have the dual exhaust, one on each side of the car, just like it's full scale. And it does have an air scoop that would normally be open to let airflow for engine cooling, but in this casting it is sealed shut, but you can see where the engine cutout would be in the hood. Headlights, and I would imagine those would be the fog lights down low. But one sleek looking design, very, very cool casting, and like I said, it's full scale protege, if you want to call it that. Definitely did its job in beating the Ferraris. So 3 beautiful renditions of an iconic car. Really, you know, I do notice the difference is, if you look at the number 3, the blue, it's just a white circle. They call it the gumdrop. But this one on the white obviously has to be bordered with black. Otherwise, you wouldn't recognize it. So that is a little bit different. They all sport the same smoke-tinted windows. And every other bit of the casting is identical. I'll show you quickly. All 3 of them do have the exact same gray plastic base on it. That's not metal. They all say Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. K6138. Now this one says S51. Let's see, this one says K6138 T10. And the metallic blue says T32. So those are the differences in the base castings. But again, that's quite minimal. But they do make a beautiful lineup together as a three-way display. I have to now go out and buy a new decent looking cutting board because I absolutely ruined this with my acetone. So you'll see a new board on here next time I have a video. But that wraps up this one, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the history lesson on the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you next time.